meaning you will lose some weight, then you'll hit a plateau, then you'll make adjustments, and you'll start to see weight loss again, and this process will repeat as you lose weight. Welcome, my name is Trevor Lomax. I'm a registered dietitian who specializes in sports performance as well as weight management. On this channel, I help you understand nutrition science so you can take confident control in your health. If at any time during this video you have a question, please put it in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Click that like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe so you can catch my next video as soon as it comes out. So if you've seen the weight loss series that I just released, you will know that at the end of the day, the most important thing about weight loss is calories in versus calories out. Meaning you need to burn more calories in a day, week, month, or maybe even year than you consume in order to see weight loss happen. If this is a foreign concept to you, I encourage you to go check out the weight loss series after you watch this video to understand this concept more in depth. So wouldn't that have you thinking that you just need to eat less and exercise more? Yeah, sure, that might work for a bit, but what happens when it seems like it's not really working anymore? This is a common trap that I've seen so many of my past clients struggle with before they came to work with me that there's actually a term for it. And it's called adaptive thermogenesis, or maybe you've heard called metabolic adaptations. Let's dive in. Adaptive thermogenesis is really a combination of a lot of potential factors, but we're gonna dive into the basics of it without getting too sciencey. So, as you lose weight, you actually have a decrease in energy expenditure, which comes from a bunch of different factors. The first one that I think most people don't think about a ton is that as you lose weight, you actually just burn less energy in general. Bigger bodies burn more energy. Thus, smaller bodies burn less energy. And you also have to consider when you're exercising, you're carrying around less weight, which means that you're actually burning less energy doing the same movements that you were doing before. Unless, of course, that's some kind of weight training where you're lifting more weight, then you may be burning more energy. What's crazy about weight loss is when you lose a lot of weight, you actually are burning less energy than would be predicted by just the decrease in the size of your body. Meaning there's this other thing going on that your body is trying to compensate for the loss of energy that it has had. Your body does this as a survival mechanism because your body likes to be at a set weight. And maybe over time you've changed that set point to a higher weight because you've eaten more and maybe not exercised enough, but your body has gotten really comfortable there and wants to stay there. A lot of these adaptations that we're about to talk about are those things that your body does to hopefully get you back up to that weight. And after we discuss these points, we're going to talk about exactly how to minimize these effects so that you can maintain even better. So one of those extra things is a decrease in what's called your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's another really big word for just saying that activity that isn't exercise, it's not planned. And honestly, the best example is me waving my hands during this video. It's unintentional, it's just something that happens. This could be other things like blinking throughout the day or tapping your foot as you're working, rocking back and forth in your seat. Whatever those little fidgety habits that you have, those are non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And these are movements that are really hard to notice that you're even doing in the first place, but you actually decrease the frequency of them. So maybe if you're somebody who blinks a lot, well, then maybe over time you just don't blink as much. Now there's a couple more metabolic adaptations that may or may not happen, and the research hasn't fully elucidated if it happens in humans because a lot of the research is done in other animals. But there is something that we know happens that is one of the hardest things to fight against, and that is a decrease in the hormone leptin. Leptin is a hormone that when it's low, you feel hungry. When it's high, you feel full or satiated. Leptin is a hormone that can have fluctuations even just within a day. If you don't eat for a while, your leptin will drop, and you have another hormone called ghrelin that will increase. This will make you feel hungry and will stimulate to say, hey, I need to go have a meal. This decrease in leptin happens because your body thinks it's hungry, which it is because you are eating less energy than your body needs to be able to maintain not only your energy expenditure to live, but also your energy expenditure for exercise and those other activities that you do throughout the day. This leptin is telling you to, hey, fill back up my energy stores because I might need them for survival. And leptin is really hard to fight against. When your leptin levels decrease, especially to the levels that really hard crash diets make it decrease to, it makes it really hard to maintain the new weight that you've achieved. This is one of the main reasons that you see so much bounce back when it comes to crash diets or people who lose weight in general too fast. So I'm sure you're wondering, how do we combat this adaptive thermogenesis? We do it with what I call the golden zone. The golden zone is all about achieving a caloric deficit of the right magnitude. Again, if you don't understand what a calorie deficit is or its importance, after this video, go check out the first episode of the weight loss series and you will understand it to a greater depth. So how do you find your golden zone? The golden zone is the smallest calorie deficit that you need to achieve so that you can see weight loss at a noticeable rate. Typically, this starts at about 15 to 20% less than your predicted resting metabolic rate adjusted for exercise and activity. You can estimate this number using an online calculator. And honestly, those calculators aren't the best, but it's a good place to get started. Over time, as you monitor your weight changes as well as your intake, you can make adjustments based on what you're seeing. And remember, all individuals differ in their metabolic rates, so don't take the numbers that you have to hit in order to see weight loss personally. You might just have a slower metabolism, but I would say most people fall around that predicted range. So depending on what you see, just adjust the input based on what the outcome is. The amount of weight loss that we're trying to target here is between 0.5 pound and 1 pound per week. And it's important to realize that weight loss should be a stepwise process, meaning you will lose some weight, then you'll hit a plateau, then you'll make adjustments, and you'll start to see weight loss again. And this process will repeat as you lose weight. So be prepared for some weeks to see weight loss and some weeks not to see weight loss. This is really how it should work. And I just want to throw a plug in here for protein because having a high protein diet will not only help keep you satiated through this process, but will also help you retain lean muscle mass as you lose fat mass. The amount of protein we should be aiming for in these circumstances should be between 2.0 to 2.7 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Another thing that is really helpful when it comes to not hitting that metabolic adaptation is refeeds or diet breaks. These are two concepts that we're not going to dive into too much in this video. Just know they are two techniques of essentially stopping dieting, hitting your maintenance calories for an extended period of time so that your body's leptin levels and metabolic rate can come back up to normal levels, and then you can go back into weight loss again after and continue to see results. These are concepts we'll dive into in future videos, so stay tuned for those. One thing that's super important is knowing that you don't need to track calories or macros in order to do this process correctly. Now, tracking may make the process a little bit more accurate, but it's not necessary. In order to do this without tracking, you just need to standardize your meals a little bit more so that as you track your weight, you can make adjustments and be confident that your adjustments are actually doing what you think they're doing. So what about when you follow this process really well and you've actually lost the weight? How do you maintain without rebounding like the 80 to 90% of people who gain the weight back within 2 years? Next, we'll talk about reverse dieting, how it works, and how to implement it when you get to your goal weight. So stay tuned.